So recently, the hashtag BlackLivesMatter group, which it's a very loose-knit organization nationally. One of their offshoots in Seattle decided to interrupt a Bernie Sanders rally, and I would like to thank them, those people that pulled off the stunt, for showing me some of my hypocrisy. But not exactly the type of hypocrisy that they were intending to show me. What I realized watching that, because there were so many very strong parallels to things that had happened in my own life, what I realized was that I was guilty of doing the same thing that they were doing, rudely co-opting somebody else's speaking engagement, and I myself have stated many, many times that I won't even put any more effort into anything that gets co-opted anymore. You know, if I see that there's not good security on what the message of a movement is, and if it looks too fluid, I am not going to be a part of it. I learned my lesson with the Occupy movement and following them around, and I'll leave a link in the description box to something very similar to what those Black Lives Matter protesters did to Bernie Sanders. It's an event where I was the designated cameraman, and the Occupy protesters from Colorado Springs decided to interrupt John Hickenlooper, the governor of Colorado, and he was speaking at an event that was basically the groundbreaking for a solar power farm in Colorado Springs, being constructed by a company called Sunshare, and it was at Venatucci Farms, which is a very liberal project in and of itself, like teaching kids about farming and stuff, and agriculture, and you know, taking urban kids and making them learn how to do gardening and stuff, and see how chickens are raised, and so the setting was very liberal, okay, and so were the Occupy protesters that decided to interrupt John Hickenlooper, the very liberal Democrat who is the governor of the state. So the shooting yourself in the foot aspect of what happened in that event, linked in the description box, almost 4 years ago in my life, it's very similar to the way that those Black Lives Matter protesters, they were protesting someone who marched alongside Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. You know, that's just, of all the people to protest, you know, shoot yourself in the foot. No, it's like they did no research, you know. But yeah, I realize now from a different perspective what it's like to see something that you'd like to flourish. You'd like to see it flourish, and then somebody comes along and says, "Hey, your movement's gaining a little steam, and our movement needs a soapbox, so we're just going to come over and take your mic." You know, yeah. I've been a hypocrite because I don't want to see that happen anymore. And yet I was a part of one of those protest groups that did it. 3-4 years ago, when the Occupy movement was doing it all over the country, they were calling it mic checking. And they were, you know, one person would be the person calling out what everyone else would repeat, but they were using the crowd in order to overpower anyone who was speaking, and you know, people cheered. You know, and a lot of the people in the crowd at that Bernie Sanders rally who were there to see Bernie Sanders, it's a good odds that they were Occupy protesters. You know, they're rooting for the candidate who, you know, he's got a little bit smaller chance than the candidate in the lead, Hillary Clinton, to get the Democratic nomination. So they're fringe liberals. Good chance that they were Occupy protesters. Good chance that they actually participated in a mic check. Better chance than any other speaking event that these Black Lives Matter protesters could have taken over. Okay? The people in that crowd likely participated in something exactly like what happened to them. Thanks for the lesson.